Hello, I'm Georgina Harding and this is my Unit 12 video essay. I'll be talking about the set design of a film, an animation and a television show. The film I have chosen is Alice in Wonderland. Alice in Wonderland is a 2010 Disney film. It is directed by Tim Burton, who has worked on many other well-known films. He is known for his dark, gothic, eccentric and quirky fantasy films, but has done other genres such as adventure comedy. The set design of Alice in Wonderland was done by Robert Stromberg, who won an Oscar for the Best Achievement in Art Direction for this film. He has also done the set designs for films such as Pirates of the Caribbean, At World's End, The Hunger Games and Pan's Labyrinth. For the films he wanted to get the right feel for it and make it fit well with what people wanted and expected to see. Robert Stromberg said himself that part of his job was to understand what it was he was doing, what Tim was going for, and what his style was. He also said that he watched Tim Burton's films to see what the style he had in each of them. To further his knowledge, he dug into the Lewis Carroll's book, took that information and went forward designing each environment. The film was originally a book, so there was a lot of planning for the sets already done, as from reading the book they got the feel for what the sets would look like. When the Mad Hatter's Tea Party was put together, they tried to achieve the most high quality and authentic thing that they could. It was hard for them as they said that those things only exist in museums. So what they did was photograph all different ideas that they had and look at it from all different angles. They then put it all into one set design to give the book and the items justice. In the end, they created a unique look that fitted all the characters. This was important as the set would not look good if it did not fit the characters' creepy old-fashioned look. For this set, they used real pottery and food, but they had 3 of all the different items. This was because there is a scene where the Hatter would just stand up and walk straight down the table, crushing the food and breaking the pottery along the way, so they needed extras. This set was a very detailed set design as they wanted it to be perfect and fit with the style of the film. In the background of the tea party you can see the Mad Hatter's house, a windmill-looking building. This was drawn by hand and then edited into the background. It was not made as part of the set design. The search for somewhere to set the garden party where Alice runs away at the start of the film took a long time, but eventually they found somewhere sufficient. This was Anthony House, Torpoint in Cornwall. They didn't use the inside of the house, just the outside and the grounds. This was as the garden was facing the front of the house, so you could see it and they were big enough for the party. The theme of this movie is fantasy and adventure. The animation I've chosen to study is Box Trolls. Box Trolls is a 2014 stop-motion animation film directed by Graham Annabelle and Anthony Statachi. It was nominated for many different awards such as Best Animated Feature Film of the Year for the Oscars, Golden Globes and BAFTAs. This film had 4 different set designers. These were Michael Brenton, August Hall, Paul Lazzani and Tom McClure. When designing the set, they had to look at the storyboards to see what they had planned it to look like and make it seem as close to what they wanted to be as possible. With this set design, they made the most of the sets by hand, such as the town and the characters. There were endless amounts of different faces created for each of the characters so that it would look like they were talking and pull different facial expressions. They also made these faces split in half. So they had the top half, so the eyes and the forehead, and then the bottom half, the nose and the mouth, so that each feature could move with the expression. They went into immense detail when making the set design. They made every single little feature ranging from over 4 different types of real-life weeds that would go on the pavements to make it seem realistic, to moving bobbled glass with the light underneath to give the effect of travelling water. The sets all range in size. Some of them are small and some of them are big. They are taller than people. This is important as if the scene where it was just one of the characters in doesn't need to be big, it can be small. But if they have something important in it that has a difficult design, then it will need to be as a big set so you can see all the details. They will use a lot of materials to create the sets and the characters, such as wood, glass, metal, ink, and lots more. This film is a comedy adventure. They tried to show this on the set as they had a big town that looked like any normal town you would get in an animation film, and they have the set of where the box trolls live, which is completely different, showing the adventure side of it. They tried to make it look as real as possible, so they acted it out themselves. They had to think about what scene they wanted to look real and recorded themselves acting it out so they could watch it back and look at the different movements that were made and how the person in their clothes moved to make it as realistic as possible. They tried to make the sets look realistic to a point. As we all know that buildings and houses in a town aren't all misshapen and wonky, but they made it as realistic so that it fits. So they made real plants, detailed cobbly pavements, and the scraps that the box trolls take into the home. Like I said earlier, in the underground sewage scene, they wanted it to look like real water and like it was moving. That, of course, is hard to create in stop motion animation. So what they did was get a piece of bobbly glass and put it where the water would go. They then put a light underneath it and moved the glass from side to side so that it looked like water moving. The television show I've chosen is Friends. Friends is a very well-known television program. It is known worldwide and has 10 different seasons. It first aired back in 1994 and has continued on until its last episode in 2004. It was directed by a total of 25 different people. This ranged from Gary Havelorson directing 55 different episodes to Stephen Prime directing only one. The first step to creating this show was deciding where they were going to make the sets. This ended up choosing the Warner Bros. Studio. Two of the most famous sets in the series are Monica's apartment and the coffee house Central Perk, which were featured in pretty much every episode of every series, and where they mostly take place. The set designers of Friends were John Schaffner and Adam Short. The sets were all made from real-life furniture brought from shops, and some were personally made for the show. They said that they wanted the set to be urban and cool for the time, but also wanted it to be relaxed and show that it's the living place of everyday people. The set for Monica's apartment was an open-plan living space with 2 bedrooms and a bathroom. They did this so that the main space that we could see the characters in was wide and open, so you can see them all in the same space at once, and from different angles all doing things. They made it so that there were rooms all attached together, even though they weren't attached in the studio and were in different parts. They filmed all within the Warner Bros. Studios. This show is a comedy show, but you can tell through the set design, as nothing is perfect and is messy and not in order. They of course use real-life material and items to build the sets, such as the coffee shop in Central Park, used real coffee cups and tables and stools, etc. They set it out so that it was easy to get around and what a real coffee shop would look like. The sets are still there now at the Warner Bros. Studio, and you can take a VIP tour around and see them for yourselves.